Hello, welcome to Pop Culture Shark, a live stream about pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we are looking at the fallout from Comic Con. I know a lot of people have already discussed this, but there's a lot of question marks about MCU Phase 6, so we're going to get into that and we're going to talk about which Comic Con announcements have us excited. But first, let's do our weekend checkup. Caleb, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. I'm finally getting into the groove of the new job. Um, just kind of vibing through it. It's starting to feel like a job now, but it's not. I already like it more than my previous place. As far as what I've been consuming pop culture wise, um, I finally have gotten up to everything in the MCU except for Miss Marvel, which I think I may attempt to watch this week. I've actually had a lot of people, now that it's over, tell me how good it is, and it's people who I don't expect to tell me that. So that's what like really gets me. So I think if I can look past the armor thing and the mutation thing, it might actually be something decent. Other than that, uh, I don't know. Like every time they announce something new for the MCU, I have to boot up Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So I've pretty much just been playing that all week.
Nice.
But
Nice.
yeah, how about you?
I discovered a channel on Twitch that shows mostly Red Dwarf, the British comedy show, 24 hours a day. And there's several of those I have not seen. So I've been mostly watching that when I can. Uh,
I
I'm
think those
kind of,
Twitch channels are hilarious. That like they can get away with that. It's so funny.
they last a couple weeks and then someone will notice and they go away.
Right,
like,
right.
like my Looney Tunes channel has gone away. And I think the Whose Lines It Anyway channel has gone away. Uh, I was watching one of them was showing They Live the other day. I was watching it with my youngest the other day. so, uh, yeah, so I'm getting to see a lot of episodes I had missed. Red Dwarf is really hard to find, like streaming. I think you have to have like sign up for BritBox or something. And it's kind of like I don't want to sign up for that just for Red Dwarf. So, um, other than that, I watched. I finally saw World's End, the final part of the Edgar Wright Simon Pegg trilogy.
Yes.
Um, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It wasn't as good as like Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead, but I still enjoyed it.
You know what's funny? I agree that's not as good as Hot Fuzz. I actually do enjoy it quite a bit more than Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is not my favorite. It's pretty good.
Mm.
I still
I
got to think about it. I just
yeah.
saw it, so it's still kind of fresh. I don't want to say, oh, it's the best, So
So for me, it's Shaun of the Dead is the most British of the three.
I could see that.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Edgar Wright, that does remind me of something I saw. I don't remember if I got to mention this last show or if we did this last week.
I think you did the
Last night.
last night in Soho.
Oh,
Yeah, we were
okay.
watching the trailer for that. We're tempted to watch it. We'll see.
It's so good. If you're gonna watch it with the kids,
No, I'll not be watching
yeah,
with the kids.
yeah, like it's something that I would have watched when I was younger, but like I also watched a lot of weird stuff when I was younger. I
yeah,
don't know if Matthew could take it, and it's not
appropriate.
Jack. Well, yeah, and it's also not Jackson's bag like at all.
No, Jackson rarely watches movies at all. So, um, and I don't have this on the list, but Everything Everywhere All at Once is back in theaters. I don't know for how long. Uh,
I'm very much tempted to, and at
it's
this
so
point,
good.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to save up. I'm trying to be good. I'm not leaving the house as much because I work from home. I'm making a little bit more money. I'm trying to save, but
Gotcha.
I'm very much tempted to go check it out.
We had talked about going to see it, but then I was like, well, after I spend this and the popcorn and everything, it's so much money. I'd rather just go buy it on DVD at this point.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm hoping it'll be streaming soon on something. So, um, but yeah, I have watched so many reactions to that movie. It's ridiculous. so, it's amazing. The fact that I'm still talking and thinking about this movie like weekly since I saw like in, I guess it was March when I saw it.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic, and I hate to sound like a broken record because when I see a movie like this, I want people to see it. Like I was the same way with Alita Battle Angel, and I've kind of turned off a bunch of my friends to that. They're like, "No, we'll never watch that movie because you won't shut up about it." So,
Well, so what I did, because I'm the same way with The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. It's my favorite movie. I've been talking about it since 2016, so 7 years. And right before a friend of mine moved down, ironically, to Texas. He moved right before he moved down to Texas. I got everyone together, and we were gonna have a going away party for him. And I'm like, I'm finally gonna show you guys The Nice Guys. So we all get together, and they've been like, "Oh, The Nice Guys." He's always talking about this, and about halfway through, they're like, "Okay, I think I see what you're talking about." And then by the end of the movie, like, I have one friend who's just as obsessed with it as I am now.
that's cool. I will eventually see that at some point. Um, let's see what else. Well, the thing about Everything Everywhere All at Once, I feel like it's catching on now. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of shutting up about it. I'm like, okay, people have noticed this movie now. It keeps
What?
like being like number one on the DVD sales or whatever. People have enough people have noticed now that I
Yeah.
feel like I can shut up about it.
Yeah, you know what? You know what it's kind of like. I remember back whenever Greatest Showman came out. Every Christmas, family, if we can watch one of those musical movies in theaters on Christmas Day, we do. And so we watched Greatest Showman on Christmas Day, and we loved it. Which, by the way, funny thing, I did not know it was a musical going into it. I thought it was just about P.T. Barnum. um,
No.
and so, imagine my surprise when they started singing.
Isn't Wolverine or whatever in it?
Yeah, Hugh
Uh,
Jackman is P.T. Barnum.
yeah, that's your first clue. That's probably a musical if it has Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman in it.
I don't know. I expected him to like start attacking people or something. I don't know. But I remember it did not do that well that those first couple weeks, and then it really started to pick up steam because of word of mouth.
Okay, yeah, I still have not seen that movie.
Okay.
So if you want to consider that as a stinker in the box office early on and make me watch it this summer, you feel free to. I'll watch it.
Possibly. But yeah.
So, cool. Well, let's get to some news. We got a lot to go over tonight. So we had Comic Con, and I'm gonna jump to the what I think is the biggest announcement right away. I was so excited about this. I had just been talking about this, how they needed to do more of this. And most of the audience could be like, "Yeah, we don't care," but they're back. Gargoyles has they've been kind of slowly coming back for like a year now. We've seen the NECA action figures come out. They had a board game come out. Just little things popping up here and there. They had some Funko Pops come out. So there's obviously interest in this, and now they have announced that they are going to continue the story at Dynamite Comics. Right now, the commitment is for 6 issues. If that does well, then they will do more. So I think they're hoping the first issue will be out by the end of the year. So when it gets closer, I'm going to be advertising this like crazy because I want more. For those who don't know, the original cartoon of Gargoyles ran for 3 seasons. Only the first 2 seasons are considered canon. After that, all the original creators left the show, and third season's just a mess. But the third season did continue in the comic books about 10 years ago. They did, I want to say 12 issues of Gargoyles and 6 issues of a spinoff called Bad Guys. So part of this announcement is they're going to be reprinting those issues as well as the original Marvel Comics run from the 90s. So very excited that this new comic series is coming out. It's basically going to be season 4 of the show, the creator has said. And it's all by the original creator, Greg Weisman, who we both love.
Yes.
He created Young Justice, Spectacular Spider-Man. he's just really great at this making
Yeah.
cartoons.
Oh, by the way, Spectacular Spider-Man's on Netflix again.
I saw that. Yeah, so if you've never seen Spectacular Spider-Man, please go watch it. Um, Unfortunately, it got cut short. I think it's only what 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Because Sony and Marvel changed their deal, and Marvel wanted to do all their cartoons in house. But it's I think the best Spider-Man cartoon series ever made.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I love the Neil Patrick Harris cartoon. That's a guilty pleasure of mine, but I can admit that it is not even close.
Yeah. So really excited about this. We'll be talking more about this as it gets closer to actually coming out. But just so happy because I've mentioned before, Greg Weisman has like 6 spin-off shows he wanted to do. He has so much more he wanted to tell with the Gargoyles. A lot of the outlines are out there for the other shows he had planned. Um, he has a website called Ask Greg that if you just type it in Google, it'll pop up. And you can find all those outlines. I think it's also on like the Gargoyles wiki. But yeah, really, really excited for that. All right, so let's talk about some of the other announcements that are not necessarily MCU. Another one that I was really excited about was X-Men 97. This had been announced a couple of years ago, but we finally got to see some images from it. This is a continuation of the X-Men cartoon show, basically what the next season would have looked like.
Now, here's my question.
Uh-huh.
Because we're going to get to this show right after this, I assume. Are we sure that that is what it is?
Absolutely, because the final episode of X-Men animated series is Xavier. I can't remember if he was injured or what, but he was going to live the Shi'ar, and he left Magneto in charge, and
Right.
that is where we pick off. Magneto is in charge of the X-Men, so this
Okay.
is like the next season, basically.
That's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. Now here's a question.
Hmm.
Because they tended to do a lot of Claremont storylines. Do you think that there are any more they can pull from, or do you think they're going to start going into like the E is for extinction type and
I think.
schisms?
Well, here's some of the characters that they have shown. That will be. Let me find it. Appearing.
Also, do you think I'm not going to say Young Justice like as like a baseline because we know where Young Justice has ended up, but oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like Sunspot. I think that's Morph next to him.
That's Morph, but that's not Morph from the show. That's fun. I like that.
We got Cable, Bishop, Forge, and Nightcrawler. Let me find that other image real quick while you're talking.
So, do you think that they are going to go a little bit further because this is a streaming service?
Yeah, I don't think that they are. They're not having to worry about. The execs at the network. They're not answering to anybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like how, and that's why I say Young Justice. I don't mean like because unfortunately Young Justice isn't good anymore. But yeah, sort of like that. Oh, that looks. Oh man, Storm's hair looks so good.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm so excited for this. So if they can, the X-Men animated series is interesting. Some episodes are great. Sometimes they're just pulling really obscure characters. You never know what you would get. But there's this was 30 years ago. There's been 30 years of X-Men stories since then. So there's still a lot of stuff they can pull from. I hope they don't just go straight to like they're living on Genosha because that would I would not be happy with that.
Right. Because that was kind of my question is like, are like E is for extinction? Are we gonna go to like are we gonna go to like Schism or do you think we'll see the Avengers? Is there gonna be like Avengers versus X-Men in this at some point?
I'm sure that they will have a lot more freedom to have guest stars. They were always cameoing stuff. Like you'd see like oh, that was obviously Ghost Rider on the video game cover. Or, oh, I just saw Spider-Man spin a web in the background. There was always weird little things they throw in there.
Mm-hmm.
But now they have so much more freedom; they can just do whatever. I'm pretty happy about this. We'll see. I mean, they could still screw this up, but
Hold up. They screwed up Young Justice.
yeah, Young Justice. I still have not finished the last 4 episodes or whatever. I was like threw my hands up there. I was like, okay, I'm done.
You know what? You know what's like the worst thing? I used to be able to 100% confidently say that Young Justice was the greatest comic book cartoon adaptation ever, and it's not even close. And now I can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I feel like there's some shows I would recommend the 2003 Ninja Turtle cartoon is awesome the
Yeah.
first 5 seasons and don't worry about the last 2 seasons. I have to put a asterisk.
Well, I mean, whenever you're talking about Fast Forward and Back to the Sewers, I consider them like sequel shows or different shows. You know what I mean? You're not going to consider the entire DC animated universe one show.
Yeah.
I don't even consider Batman the Animated Series and New Batman Adventures the same show because the art style difference.
I could see that. Yeah.
But yeah.
Hyped about this. I'm really hoping they don't screw it up. They're getting most of the original voice cast. Some of them have passed on, unfortunately. I think Cyclops, I think his name was Christopher North or something. I'm not sure on that, but he has passed on. So obviously he'll be recast. But really excited about this. I hope they don't screw this up. So on the flip side, we had heard about Spider-Man freshman year a couple years ago also, and everybody assumed that this is going to be the story of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. What was he doing before he met Iron Man?
Yeah,
afterwards.
Because I believe it was. He said the last 6 months have been crazy, and so it's 6 months before Civil War, essentially.
So we assumed incorrectly that's what the show was going to be. And so this is why I'm so disappointed. Now, this show might be great, but right now I'm just not excited for it. This is basically a what if. What if Norman Osborn had approached Peter instead of Tony Stark? And how his life would have been different.
So I will say that I am disappointed as well. However, I'm still not turned off by the show just because that conceit is so it's interesting to me because that implies that because they don't even know who Norman Osborn is in the MCU, right? So
right. Well, Norman Osborn in No Way Home said, I can't find myself here. There appears to be no Norman Osborn or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting. And so having Norman Osborn is interesting. I don't know how I particularly feel about. Okay, so to me, this should have been the show, kind of like Beware the Batman. For all my people who love that show as much as I do, the whole thing with Beware the Batman is they didn't use the mainstay villains. They used Professor Pig and Anarchy and Magpie because they wanted to get away from the Joker and they wanted to get away from all this. And so what I wanted this show to be was kind of here's Spider-Man going up against the lesser known villain. I wanted Boomerang in this show,
Yeah, because if it had been in the MCU continuity, you don't want to use villains that are going to show up later in movies. So you have to use the Enforcers or Hammerhead or whatever, The lesser.
For me, I'm cool with that. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. So I'm just disappointed that this is out of continuity because then it's just this is just another Spider-Man cartoon.
Well,
it's not.
Well, they're oh, it's still in continuity. It's still canon because of the multiverse. And that's like, no.
No, it's just a Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah.
So
Like,
we'll see on this one. I'm
yeah.
just ugh.
What if is it barely canon?
What if had a chance to make itself more canon with the evil Doctor Strange, and they couldn't even do that right. They
I
made,
know.
oh, this is a different evil Doctor Strange. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can't even connect those two dots. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see about this. But let's move on. Were there any other Comic Con announcements that you were excited about that were not MCU?
None that I could think of. A lot
Okay.
of the stuff that I've been excited for, because like whenever it comes to Star Wars, we already got all of our stuff at Celebration, and now I think they're just waiting for Andor to come out. And then as far as like Final Fantasy, I mean, like we weren't going to get Final Fantasy at Comic Con anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, nothing really stood out to me. I am getting to the point where it is hard to be, and this is where it sucks for me, because I am a DC over Marvel all day, but they're making it really hard.
So let's talk about DC briefly. They showed Black Adam and or trailers for it, and then they showed a trailer for the next Shazam movie, which I don't remember what the name of it is.
Fury of the Gods.
Yeah. They didn't look bad, but the issue is they've got other DC movies coming out right now, and they can't talk about them because they don't know if they're coming out or not. They don't know what they're doing with them right now.
Exactly.
So it was a very muted presence. The Flash movie's been done for quite a while. The other big news that came out last week is that Ben Affleck Batman is probably going to be in Aquaman 2. The reason that just came out of nowhere was it was supposed to be Michael Keaton Batman in Aquaman 2. But they can't do that because they haven't set that up in the Flash movie yet because that's been delayed for who knows how long. So they had to switch it to Ben Affleck Batman so that could come out before Flash now. So there's a lot of shuffling the cards going around behind the scenes right now.
Yeah.
So until they get that straightened out, there's not much to get excited about at DC because even DC does not know what DC is doing right now.
Yeah. And like as far as like anything else, like we didn't get anything on any shows either. We're supposed to be getting like this Batman Caped Crusader, this darker HBO Max Batman cartoon, and we didn't get anything on that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was really not a DC presence other than Black Adam and Shazam, which look fine. I'm decently excited for them. I love the first Shazam movie, and Dwayne the Rock Johnson is always entertaining no matter what movie he's in.
Yeah. So this is how bad things are at DC right now. I think it was the director, I want to say, of Fury of the Gods who said, "Oh, there's been no talks of doing a Shazam versus Black Adam movie." And I'm sitting there scratching my head going, shouldn't there be talks about that? Isn't that his enemy? So I don't know.
I also love I for the life of me I can never remember his name, but he's a YouTuber, like a big YouTuber, but now he's a director of Shazam. I love how open he is, and he just like doesn't care. It's great.
That's cool. A couple of other projects that were announced at the Marvel Animation. They showed a trailer for I Am Groot. Looks fun and silly.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like little shorts.
Right, it's gonna be at most 20 minutes long by the end of the series.
Yeah, it's don't expect much, but it's it's something. And then they also talked about Marvel Zombies, which we'll see.
I don't care. Like even the Marvel Zombies episode in What If wasn't that good.
For me, the problem with Marvel Zombies, like I like the idea of where the point it gets to, but I want to see like
the lead up
something.
with
Yeah,
Reed
I like want to
Richards.
see the world, kind of like what the Army of Darkness versus Marvel Zombies series was, but slow it down. Have it like week by week, like you don't know who's going to get turned this week, and or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's like shocking, like oh my gosh, they got Captain America or whatever. Like this is the moment the tide turns.
So for me, my problem with Marvel Zombies, and I know I just got done complaining about DC, but for me, my problem with Marvel Zombies is Blackest Night is better.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'd rather have something related to Blackest Night.
Marvel Zombies, like the comic, was just dark and silly about what happens when all the superheroes eat everything on the planet. What happens then? Then they start fighting amongst each other.
And then the Maker opens a portal, and now it's sinking into other universes and blah blah. Blah. Yeah.
Yeah, they. I mean, obviously, they did not expect it to go over as big as it did at the time, and so they just kept figuring out different ways to continue the story, and it just got ridiculous. Um, so we'll see. I keep saying we'll see, but I think this is going to probably pick up where the What If episode ended,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of like okay,
So we're getting. So we're actually getting two Spider-Man shows.
two What If shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Did Spider-Man live at the end of that episode? I can't remember.
was he the one that was just ahead? No, it was Ant-Man that was just ahead at the end, right?
Yeah. Ant-Man was just ahead,
Yeah,
but he.
I thought it was Spider-Man and Ant-Man's head and somebody else at the end. I can't remember who now.
But yeah, he had Doctor Strange's cape, which was cool.
Yeah, that I do remember. Was it Hawkeye or somebody? I can't. I'm getting the comic book and the cartoon mixed up.
Yep. Speaking of Spider-Man, did we get anything else on Across the Spider-Verse? I can't remember.
Other than toys starting to leak characters, Spider-Punk has been leaked.
Right.
I did find one of the toys at Target yesterday. It was just a Spider-Man figure, but on the package it showed like Spider-Man 2099 and I think it was Spider-Gwen. So yeah, I think that got delayed, and since it got delayed, the merchandise doesn't get delayed, so we're starting to see some of that leak out.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but that's what keeps happening with these delays. So
Now, if I don't know if they have anybody planned for Spider-Punk, but if they don't, or if what I want Billy Joe Armstrong to play Spider-Punk. I think that'd be hilarious. He's the lead singer of Green Day.
okay.
I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I think you got to get like an actual like a Billy Idol or somebody to play the character.
You need a punk to play him.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's talk about what was the big news, and that was Marvel Phase 5. Well, Phase 5 and 6, as we found out. So basically, just to set up, Phase 4 is going to end at Wakanda Forever. So let's talk about, let me back up. Before we talk about Phase 5,
let's talk about the rest of Phase 4 then, right?
Yeah, so we got She-Hulk coming out, I guess, August.
I am super excited for that.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about CGI. I don't care. This looks great. I'm really hyped for this. I know it's going to be silly. I know she's going to be breaking the fourth wall and stuff. But
oh man, you know what's funny is I forgot that she does that.
Yeah,
like that totally slipped my mind. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's like her shtick.
Yeah, and then seeing the Wrecking Crew fighting her in the trailer, yeah, I was like, oh yeah.
And then
Titania
in the yellow costume.
Oh yeah, so Daredevil.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about Daredevil more when we get to his series announcement. But him being in the yellow-red outfit in the She-Hulk trailer makes me think that the Daredevil series later on is going to be a complete reboot.
I think so as well, which we definitely will talk about that because I definitely have some questions.
Yeah.
But like as if like that's a variant of Daredevil or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that could be because She-Hulk deals with all kinds of crazy court cases.
Yeah.
Um, and that definitely happened in comic books where they were dealing with alternate multiverse versions of
Mhm.
characters trying to fit into, when there's another one of you running around, how does that affect you legally?
Mhm.
Um,
And then we still have the two specials coming out that are technically in Phase 4, but we did not get any news on them. We're probably getting those at D23. He
yeah,
said.
Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special were mostly missing, and Armor Wars was also missing. Um,
Yes. And I'll go ahead and say a lot of that stuff. There's cancellations are always a possibility. That's kind of the thing whenever they announce this stuff.
so
A
the
lot.
the the showrunner of Armor Wars said it's definitely still coming. So
Yeah.
we'll see though. But yeah, you're right. Things do change behind the scenes. If you recall, there was a Inhumans movie announced way back when that got quietly canceled and changed into a TV show. So
And then Civil War wasn't even on the list. Like we were going to get Captain America Serpent Society.
yeah, they were kind of messing with us at that point. But let's talk about the other big piece of Phase 4, the ending of Phase 4, Wakanda Forever. We got the trailer for this. How do you feel about this, Caleb?
I haven't seen the trailer.
Oh, really?
I I don't care. That's the problem.
All right.
Uh, and here's the thing. I love that first movie. It's in my S tier. We just talked about this last show. It's in my S tier. But like I just T'Challa was the most interesting character. He was the main character. You take that out of the equation, I don't care.
So let me briefly describe the trailer. It's
Okay.
basically opens with like a funeral, but it's like a celebration. Like they're all dancing and stuff.
It's a
And
celebration of life, I guess.
yeah. And you see the characters saying, "How do we go on?" They're all crying and stuff. The queen's crying, and the queen's talking about how she's lost her whole family. But then we keep cutting to this pregnant lady under the sea, and she gives birth, and then there's like this baby Namor, and then we see Namor growing up under the sea, and we see like there's some big fight on like a freighter, and we see like well, they're not Atlanteans. I can't call them that anymore. Namor's people hanging to a whale, like sneaking up on the ship and all this stuff, and like all this fighting and stuff. Um,
So why are we not allowed to call them Atlanteans?
they're not they're not from Atlantis anymore. They announced their cults. Oh, what was it? I could find it in just a minute. Um, I think the reason they changed it was because Aquaman is Atlantis also.
And they didn't want the confusion.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't want people to say they were copying them, which is dumb. But
I mean, I'll admit Namor came first, but
yeah.
I
So
mean, no one called them out about Thanos being a ripoff of Darkseid, so
yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Where is it? God, I hate the internet today because you're like, I just want to need the answer, and you pull up like a 5-page paragraph on, but I'm like, just tell me what the freaking thing is.
let me go through the history of what they used to be called so I can get my word count in.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's like Talokan is where he's going to be from, a
Okay.
long lost Aztec kingdom that sunk into the sea. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So at one point, the trailer, we see the queen speaking before the UN or whatever, saying, "I've lost my whole family." We see Shuri crying, and then it like cuts to like a painting of like a graffiti on a wall of Chadwick Boseman's face, and then we just see like everybody fighting and stuff. You see the Ironheart girl doing something in a lab, and just everybody fighting. The Wakandans are going to stand together against the. I'm going to call them Atlanteans, even though they're not that. The Atlanteans, and that's kind of how the trailer ends. The music is very powerful. In the trailer, they're singing "Don't Cry," and then it changed to a song about hope and all this stuff. So, should they have made this movie? I guess is my first question.
Yes, but they should have recasted.
That's the question.
Yes,
Because let's say, God forbid, Tom Holland died tomorrow, and you're gonna make a new Spider-Man movie. You don't kill off Spider-Man. That would make all the kids freak out. So
they might kill him off and go straight to Miles. You never know.
well, I mean, they did that in Spider-Verse, but I think it worked because it was understood there's multiple realities, and this is not our Spider-Man, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of kids that look up to Black Panther, and you're just gonna devastate them. And I just feel like it's going to be 2 hours of reminding me, oh yeah, Chadwick Boseman's dead. That does not sound like a fun time,
Yeah. Well, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this because it's one of the things that really frustrated me, and I think we are far enough along that I can say this and people can hear what I'm saying. What Chadwick Boseman thing was extremely selfish and irresponsible. By not telling anyone about his illness.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I mean, I'm like, even Kevin Feige didn't know until he got the phone call that he was dead, and
Yeah.
it's like,
well, and you put so many cast members, you put so many crew members, their jobs at risk. So just because you didn't want to, I mean, I can't really say what his mentality was, but it really doesn't matter what his mentality was, because it was very irresponsible. Regardless if it was a selfish thing, it was irresponsible of him to not say anything.
well, I look at Norm Macdonald's death. He, a lot of people didn't know he was sick either, but at the same time, there was not a franchise depending on Norm Macdonald,
Right.
So I mean, I get it. It's your personal health. You want to keep it private, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
At least let Kevin Feige know that, hey, I'm sick.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to do this next movie. You need to have a backup plan.
Right. And so, that being said, at that point, you need to recast, because you have not just kids, but you have African American children who this was their hero. This was their Superman.
Exactly.
And so by taking that away, and then, okay, so this is, let's go ahead and be honest. Black Panther is Shuri now.
The Lego sets have said as much. Yes.
Yeah. It hits different, and not in the same way, and not as an impactful way. Like,
well, the other thing here is this is setting a dangerous precedent that we're seeing play out with another character. William Hurt just passed away, so they're going to retire the character Thunderbolt Ross, and the Thunderbolts will be named after him in his honor, which that means you're not going to do the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Unless it's a different character now, and if it's a different character, why are you bothering? It needs to be Thunderbolt Ross and his hatred for the Hulk. So, just some weird decisions going on at Marvel right now. I mean,
Like, are you
And
telling me
it's
if
weird. It's weird talking about this because obviously the death of Chadwick Boseman is more important than these movies. It's a person that actually died, but at the same time, just looking at it from the pop culture direction of it, you know, it makes me uncomfortable talking about it. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, well, how do we move forward from this?
well, the precedent is you're telling me that if Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and uh, Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and Robert Pattinson are all Batman at the same time.
Well, I feel like sometimes I think the audience is dumb, and we're not stupid. I mean, we've had two different people play War Machine, and we were fine with it. We didn't freak out, you know. So he should have absolutely been recast. I you know, I don't know.
So yes, I don't care. I will see it. Absolutely. I definitely will see it because the streak must be kept. But I am 100% not excited for this movie because I don't care.
I am. The only reason I'm interested in this movie is because I've heard of the what the end credit scene is, which we won't spoil here. That's the only thing that has me excited about this film. I will most likely, unless I hear like this is the greatest movie of all time, I will most likely wait for this one on Disney Plus.
Which I mean, like at that point, and that's another thing is like it's becoming a lot harder to necessitate going because I mean Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be on Disney Plus in like a month and a half. Like,
If even that, yeah.
yeah. Um,
Because it
so
blows my mind that I turn on Disney Plus, Doctor Strange is already there. I'm like, didn't that just come out?
I know. Um, but yeah, I now that I've got my Wakanda Forever rant out of the way, if you have anything more to talk about with Wakanda Forever, we can. I
Namor looked okay, but they only showed him a couple of times, like from the back.
do you think
There's
he'll
one
be a
shot of him
mutant?
sitting on a throne. I think they will hint that he is a mutant, sure, because when they showed him being born as a little baby, he had little wings on his feet. That's not an Atlantean thing. So, yeah, he's a mutant.
Okay.
So, all right. So, they now said this is the end of phase 4. So, phase 5 was a lot of stuff, for the most part, that we already knew about. So, some of these we're going to go through quickly because we've already know about these. And the ones that are new announcements we'll kind of park on for a little bit. And the other thing I want to do is after we get done going through the list of these, we're going to say are we excited or not excited for them. And I couldn't find a bigger image, unfortunately, but here we go. So I can't read the dates on here, but in the spring, we're going to get Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania.
That is February 17th.
February 17th. Thank you.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and say, are you excited about this one? Yes or no?
Uh, yes, but at the same time, if what they're doing with MODOK is what I hear they're doing, I'm not excited about that. I, I, I think it's funny that we're getting to the point where we're getting to the point where like, I mean, characters have stupid names now. Like Stature
Yeah.
is like the worst name ever for a hero, and so we're getting Stature. I really, for me, it's just about Kang. Like, I am so excited for Kang. And that's really all I care about in this movie. I'm sure it'll be fine because Ant-Man movies are always passable to decent. So, like, I've never been offended by one of these movies, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I think this movie will be fine. So I'll go ahead and say I'm excited for this one. Like you said, mostly for Kang, and maybe we'll get some hints about the Fantastic Four in it. I don't expect them to appear, but I think they will.
I mean, if we're thinking about what we're thinking about with the ending of phase 4, then I wouldn't be surprised if we got something on Fantastic Four.
Just some hint that they exist. I don't expect them to show up or anything. All right, and yeah, I've heard some weird MODOK rumors that I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So we'll see. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this, but I will go see this.
I wonder if anyone is.
All right, so let's move on to Secret Invasion real quick. Are you excited about Secret Invasion?
Okay, so Secret Invasion. I am excited for one reason, and that is my wife is in it, Emilia Clarke. We don't really have a whole lot of information on Secret Invasion, which is interesting. So we really don't know. We don't know what we're getting into, but I'm excited for more Sam Jackson. I love Ben Mendelsohn. And I know that Martin Freeman and Don Cheadle are going to be in it. It's just going to be a lot of the side characters really getting the spotlight. I think this will be the first time that like the side characters get the spotlight in one of the shows.
Okay, so you are excited about this. I am not excited about this at all. I could care less.
And here's the thing: I understand that because I hate the source material.
Well, that, and it doesn't feel like any of the big characters are in this, so it's not gonna be like, oh my gosh, Iron Man's an imposter. Well, no, Iron Man's not in. Now, if they were bringing back Robert Downey Jr. for this, and you're kind of like, okay, wait, is this really Iron Man or not? That would be a good hook. But I haven't felt that hook yet. Now, we may hear more about this as we get closer, but there are some big surprises like that.
I have a feeling. I have a very suspicious feeling. That at the end of episode 1, we are going to get, because I mean they whenever they want to really keep something under wraps, they do.
Yeah.
And I just have this gut feeling that Chris Evans is going to appear at the end of episode 1.
I could see that.
And like, oh my God, is Steve Rogers back? So that,
you know what would make me excited for this?
What's that?
Is if at the end, like an old 1950s Nick Fury showed up and said, "I'm the real Nick Fury, the imposter," and you're like, "Wait, what?"
It's David
Hasselhoff. Him and you bring back Dum Dum Duggan from the other stuff, but yeah. Then I'm excited.
Yeah. So yeah, I am not a fan of the source material. It just seems like that we have different views on the idea of a show without the big people in it. I'm interested in a show with just the side characters, and you are not. So
well, it's just weird. Like if this was going to be like the Secret Warriors dealing with this invasion or something. But it's like, this should be a big deal of who the imposters are. And oh my gosh, wait, it make you question the other movies and,
Yeah. I definitely agree.
I just don't know if we're going to get that. Now, you could have bring Terrence Howard back as War Machine and say, he's an imposter. Then I'm in,
Maybe that's why we're not hearing anything about Armor Wars, because they're bringing Terrence Howard back.
All right. I think next is probably the thing I'm most excited about until you get into Phase 6, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Absolutely. Not even a question. So excited for it.
We kind of saw parts of the trailer.
So did you see the leaked trailer for Quantumania?
I have not. No.
So the leaked trailer, there's a lot of Kang in it, and it's really cool. So I'm really hoping that a lot of leaked trailers come out.
There was some really good leaked footage of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that came out. That was like 3 seconds of Baby Rocket Raccoon and then playing the Flaming Lips song, and I was like, holy crap. Do you realize that that everyone is going to die one day? And it was just like, oh my gosh. And he, the raccoon was so adorable, and like he was about to cry. You're just
I
like,
mean,
oh
like
no.
they're really going in on this. We need baby versions of characters. Um, Baby Rocket is the next big thing.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I've heard so many rumors about this character dies or that character dies or whatever.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that because I think it is safe to say that this is it for the Guardians of the Galaxy
As a team, they have
as a
definitely said that.
as a team, as a franchise.
Yeah,
This is going to be it for them, whether or not characters live or die, or if they appear in other things. But this is it. Who do you think kicks it?
my gut, not going by the internet, is that Peter Quill is going to die.
That was my guess as well.
That would be the one thing that would separate the team. If you go off him, he's the head of the team. Then they go their separate ways.
I would have a feeling about Drax as well.
Drax, if you know your comics, there is a comic book where he gets all messed up, and all of a sudden his body starts cracking like a shell, and there's a new Drax inside. You just do that and recast him.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
You sent me the link. Unfortunately, it was taken down by the time I could see it. Where are we at with Gamora on this?
Gamora, in the trailer, she is the leader of the Ravagers now.
That's pretty dope. I dig that.
Yeah,
but Kraglin is still with the Guardians, right?
I don't know if I saw him in the trailer. The trailer was really distorted and hard to see. It was like a reflection of the trailer. It was all stretched. Right. So you're kind of like, what? I think Mantis survives, definitely.
No offense to the character, but like, what emotional thing do you get out of Mantis dying?
Well, and she's such a big part of, I say Guardians of the Galaxy in comics, but really she's like Adam Warlock's, like, her confidant, whatever you want to call it, to him and Star-Lord. So I could see her maturing. So like, I don't feel like we've had enough time with her yet.
So I will let you know you're starting to distort again.
No, can you hear me now? Am I still distorted?
A little bit.
All right. I don't know what's going off my internet today. Is it getting any better?
A little bit. While you're getting that figured out, I'll go ahead and take the lead on the next one because this one I can definitely say I'm excited about. We have Echo coming out in the summer, which is an MCU television series starring Maya Lopez, aka Echo, which I am a fan of. Everything that has to do with Hell's Kitchen, that has to do with the Daredevil mythos. It's my favorite part about the Marvel Universe. And so it's going to be super interesting because I believe she is going to be finding more about her Native American past and learning to accept it. Not her past, but like her heritage. So yes, for Echo, I am very excited for this.
Okay. Can you hear me now, or am I still?
You were doing good, and then distorted again.
Okay. I'll try to
leave.
I don't know how I fixed it last time. So, let me leave the stream for just a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll hold down the fort. Actually, so for me, what's really interesting, I just finished Hawkeye because I got about halfway through, and then I thought I finished it, but then I realized I never finished it. And so now, with having just finished Hawkeye, I can definitely say I'm excited for Echo.
Okay, am I any better?
It's still distorted.
All right.
But anyway, yes. So You know what it is? It's because he said that he's not excited for Secret Invasion, and Feige is getting to him. Um, I'm really surprised that Feige didn't come for me when I said I wasn't excited for Wakanda Forever. Um, that's what it comes down to now. When it comes to Secret Invasion, I definitely don't think it's a great story, but we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Is it any
Let's
better
see.
now?
A little bit.
Okay.
Dang it. We'll get through it. We'll get through it.
Okay. I don't know if there's a short in my microphone cord or what's going on. Anyhow, I'm not excited for Echo. I don't know anything about the character. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Understandable. I mean, like, Echo might be for you what Guardians of the Galaxy was for everyone else when it first came out.
Yeah, I just don't know who the character is.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of do, but I've never really read much other than that Avenger stuff when she first appeared.
Yeah, I didn't catch anything you said there.
Cool. Try to unplug again while you talk about Loki.
Yes, yes. So I will talk about Loki as well because I loved season 1 of Loki. When it comes to the let's call them the phase 4 shows, um, I think overall WandaVision is the best. Like, that's not even a question. But for me, Loki was the most consistent because I think that, like, there were even some drop offs, especially towards the end with WandaVision. I think Loki is just super solid all the way through, with those 6 episodes. And I am a big fan of the first season, and I love what they did with Kang, or He Who Remains. Um, so I'm definitely excited for season 2. I want them to get weirder, which I'm sure they will. I need Miss Minutes to be scarier. I don't think they went far enough with that character. All right, let's see. Yin. Well, if he's talking, I can't hear you. Um, but yes, I'm excited for this. I love Sylvie. She's great. I mean, Tom Hiddleston. Like, let's not act like it's not true. But, like, we all talk about Robert Downey Jr. Tom Hiddleston is like the goat of the MCU. He's really rocking it. He hams up every scene he's in. He's always great. He was the thing that was missing from Love and Thunder, but of course you can't have him in Love and Thunder as of yet. I am curious as to how they're going to cross over, because for those of you who know um, season 1 Loki, um, pretty much how are they going to get this crossed over without making Loki's death cheap in Infinity War? Um, or will they cross over? Maybe Loki's story will end with season 2. Um, I don't know if the Loki from the Loki show and the Thor from the past 2 movies would mesh very well. I think there's definitely some issues whenever it comes to um, tone. So yeah, are you back? No, I don't think he is back. I hate to move on because I definitely want to hear what he has to say about Loki. but I know that he hasn't seen Captain Marvel, and he has no interest in seeing Captain Marvel, and he has no interest in seeing Miss Marvel. So I'll go ahead and move on to the Marvels. Um, with See, I talk about the Marvels, and he's like, "I'm out of here. I don't even want to talk about it." I understand. Um, so, of the three main characters in this show, I am definitely excited for two of them. Um, I love Monica Rambeau. She's great. Um, I'm really excited for her as I'm trying to remember what her like superhero title is. I think it's Spectrum. Uh, and I don't know much of anything about Miss Marvel in the MCU because, of course, I haven't seen it yet. I plan on fixing that this week. But the actress, I've seen her interviews. I love her. She's great. Um, like she's definitely just an MCU nerd, which is awesome. Um, and uh, yeah, unfortunately, like it just comes down to Carol Danvers. I'm not sold on the character yet. We've had so many different appearances of Carol Danvers, and I'm not sold. And I love Brie Larson, but there's just something up with the way they write the character of Carol Danvers that
Can you hear
does
me?
not. There we go. He is back.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Um,
Yeah, it seems like Brie Larson might be on her way out, as like they are definitely setting up her replacement. It feels like,
yeah, yeah.
because I think they are realizing that this character is not connecting. Uh, Behind the scenes, you can see that because early on when they first announced Captain Marvel, like, oh, she's the most powerful, and she is going to be like the main Marvel character going forward, and you haven't seen any of that since then.
So, and I went ahead and started talking about the Marvels because I know that you haven't even seen
Yeah,
Captain
I
Marvel.
could hear
So,
what you were saying. You
okay,
just couldn't hear me.
okay, gotcha. Let's. I'll finish up what I'm saying about the Marvels, and then we can head on back to Loki. So you can say your piece on that. I'm pretty excited for the Marvels because I like Kamala and I like Monica. Um, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm not a wrestling person, but I feel like with Carol Danvers is to Roman Reigns. Like whenever you tell me that this is the main character and this is the most powerful, that's when you lose me. You gotta show me that. You gotta like warm me up to the character.
Well, part of the
Um,
fun of being a comic fan is who would win in a fight. And so when you tell me, oh, this is the most powerful character, now it's no more fun. you know?
yeah. Plus, I think we've already established that like it is definitely Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Like you cannot tell me anything else. But yes. Thoughts on Loki?
Uh, I thought season one was mostly okay. I had a couple issues with it. I heard a rumor that Loki season two might deal with a Squadron Supreme. If it
That'd
does, I'm
be
all in.
amazing. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So if that is true, I'm all in. Um, all right. So I like you said, I'm not excited about the Marvels whatsoever. Unless the end credit scene, like I've been saying, is Mystique and Rogue, which I don't think it will be. So were you excited about the Marvels, or you don't care?
Uh, I'm
Sorta.
excited. I'm excited, but like if there are three main characters in this movie, I'm excited for two of them.
Yeah, you're more excited for Miss Marvel and Spectrum or Photon or whatever her name is.
Yeah, I said Spectrum because I couldn't remember if there were anything
She's had
else.
she's had three names or four names, I think. Captain Marvel, Spectrum, Photon, and I think like Light something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's had a lot of
Um,
names.
but I like both of them. Like I said, I haven't watched Miss Marvel yet, but I know the actress in all of the um, interviews, she's great, and so like there's just something infectious about her attitude, and I want her to do well. You know?
Oh yeah, Miss Marvel, the actress, is amazing. Um, yeah, she's very excited. I'm very much a fan of all this. So Blade.
Oh my
I
god, yes.
Yeah, we're both pretty excited for this one. The guy playing Blade, whose name slips my mind right now, is from
Mahershala Ali.
yeah, he was in Alita Battle Angel. He was great in that.
He was
Um,
Copperhead and Luke Cage.
yeah, so we're both pretty excited about that. We're gonna go through these a little bit faster because we're starting to run out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
Also, there's a rumor for Anthony Starr. I'm sorry, Anthony Starr, as Dracula, and I'm totally down for that.
yeah, so we don't know how true those rumors were. Um,
Regardless, I'm down for it.
I will say this for our listeners: if you have not seen, there is a list of trademarks that got released, and we were kind of like, I don't know if it's true or not, and we're not going to say them on here because we don't want this to get taken down. But if you search for those Marvel trademarks, a lot of the shows that were on there started getting announced. This list came out before Comic-Con, and then we got announcements for those shows. So the list is pretty legit. Because no one's going to guess or not Quantum Mania, King's Dynasty, as a movie and get, everything else right. So those are probably hints about either comic book series, video games, or movies that we're getting in the near future, or TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to talk about that on here. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, Blade, it's kind of opening up another part of the MCU for them to play with, like with Ghost Rider. If they had Morbius, that's where he would fit in. They don't.
But Wong and Morbius hasn't been announced yet. It's coming.
How do you feel about Wong showing up everywhere?
I think it's funny.
It's kind of funny, but also kind of like, oh, it's Wong again. It's
I
kind of like this is the Wong phase,
Well, you know what? I don't mind it because like he's kind of like he's the straight man at this point, and like I just think he's the Michael Bluth to the MCU's Arrested Development, and I think it's really funny.
Yeah, because we went through a Coulson phase, and now we're in this Wong phase. So.
Yeah. By the way, do you think Blade will have any semblance on Werewolf by Night?
I don't know if any of the characters from Werewolf by Night will show up here. Maybe, I don't know if Moon Knight I don't think Moon Knight would show up in here. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, honestly, when it comes to Werewolf by Night, we don't know anything, so it's hard to say.
I've read some spoilers. I think it might involve the Bloodstones.
Okay.
That family that hunts monsters, but I don't know for sure. We don't know if Wesley Snipes is involved in any way with this. It would be cool if he got to play a vampire or something in it, but we'll see. Ironheart, I don't care.
Yeah, next.
Yeah, she, they showed her briefly in the Wakanda trailer, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. And I think she plays a huge role in Wakanda Forever, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Are you excited for this?
Absolutely.
I am too.
I love Catherine Hahn. And here's the thing: I know basically nothing about Agatha Harkness. I hadn't heard about her until we were talking whenever WandaVision was first happening, and you said, "Oh yeah, her name's Agnes. She's probably Agatha Harkness." And I was like, "I don't even know who that is." So it's not that I'm this huge Agatha stan. I'm like just this Catherine Hahn fan.
Exactly. Yeah. Agatha Harkness in the comics is kind of like that's this character shows up once in a while. Who cares?
I just love Catherine Hahn. Like,
yeah,
she's great.
I'll be curious if we might get like Wonder Man in this. I could see her bringing him back to life, or more of the Vision. I could see him showing up here. I could see Vision showing up here, or Thunderbolts. I could see him showing up over there.
I was definitely gonna talk about that because I definitely. I know we're running out of time, but I definitely want to talk about like a Thunderbolts lineup.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So the big elephant in the room, Daredevil Born Again. Earlier, you heard me say this is probably a reboot. What do you think?
I think it is very likely that it's a reboot
Especially with
for
the
a couple.
title.
Right, right. So yeah, it's very much a homecoming thing where like there's it's a homecoming dance, but it's also Spider-Man coming home, you know. Um, so it's like a double entendre meaning. Then there's also the fact that like season 3 of the Netflix show was basically Born Again. So why would you do it again? And
So go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you finish your thought.
um, and now that I've finished Hawkeye, um, Kingpin is like nigh invincible in this universe. um, like he gets hit by a car and he gets blown up by a bomb, and Echo shoots him at the end, and he's still kicking. So that is definitely not the Kingpin from the Netflix show because that wouldn't fit. Um, so they're definitely making Kingpin more superhuman, and so with this being like another reality or a reboot, that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, my question is, why would you do Born Again again? Born Again again. Why would you do it again if you already did it? Unless you're going to be more close to the comics, and I doubt they will because they're not going to bring in Captain America. They're not going to bring in Nuke. They're not going to make. They're not going to make Karen Page a porn star. You know. Um,
Well, I don't think you have to go that far to have her fall.
that's
Um,
true. That's true.
was I didn't see Daredevil season 3. Did Bullseye ever show up, or they just kept hinting at him being like the sniper or whatever?
Bullseye was the main villain. They never called him Bullseye, but Bullseye was the main villain.
Okay, because I feel like he would be the main villain in this. So here's why I think this is a reboot.
Now
Um,
he did get away at the end,
okay,
but
I I either think this is a reboot, or they're just going to be cagey about did that stuff in Netflix ever happen or not happen, which we've seen them do before. They're kind of like, as Agents of Shield in continuity, probably not, but maybe, you know. Um, but I look at when Disney purchased Star Wars, and they were looking at the extended universe, and they're like, oh, this is a lot of cool stuff. Do we keep all this? And they said, if we keep all this, Chewbacca is dead. We cannot have Chewbacca dead, and so they got rid of all of it. So, and then that we've slowly seen them reintroduce elements from that. I think this is the same thing. They're like, oh, we've got Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Punisher. All this stuff's great, but you also got Iron Fist, and we've lost this franchise. So it's like, okay, we've got big plans for Iron Fist. We've got to redo Iron Fist. So if we do that, we've got to reboot all of this. That's
that's
what
an
I
int-
think.
that is definitely an interesting perspective, um, because that means we might get more Ben Urich.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed. I When he died in season 1, I was so mad. I was like,
so
he was
he,
such a great character.
so here's the thing. I loved it, but I'm like, man, that sucks that we don't get more of him because like his death was so good and it was so necessary to the story they were telling. Um, but then it's like, well, now we can't. He's dead. We can't use him anymore. So there's that possibility. Um, but yeah, so Daredevil. Of course, I'm excited for it. He's my favorite Marvel hero. So yeah, absolutely.
All right, Captain America: New World Order.
I'm excited. I don't know what to think about it because I really don't know what the name means.
I assume two things.
Is it Serpent Society?
No, I think it's going to have to do with what Elaine from Seinfeld's been doing behind the scenes. Kind of, maybe this is
Okay.
like leading into Thunderbolts.
I
I
could
also
definitely
think
see
this is where
that.
you're going to start seeing Sam form the next version of the Avengers. Will be This is where we're going to meet the new Avengers, or at least who the lineup is by the end, to
You
start
think Sam?
setting that up.
You think Sam's gonna be leader?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
don't. I don't know. I think Doctor Strange has got that on lock.
I think they're going to rally around Sam, especially once the Thunderbolts rise up as the new heroes, and then they're going to be led by probably by U.S. Agent, like at least publicly.
Hmm.
Then I think that Sam's going to be the opposite and be the leader of the Avengers.
Okay, I could see that.
Like it'd be like mirror reflections almost. Um, I'm hoping we get some more Thunderbolt characters like Moonstone and stuff. She's a lot of fun. But we'll see. So Thunderbolts, just my guess for lineup. Baron Zemo, U.S. Agent. I would
Yes,
love to
yes.
see Red Hulk on the team. I doubt it.
I think we're gonna. I think it's gonna be Abomination.
Yes, yeah, Abomination. I think we will get some type of Atlas character to go
What
up
do you
against
mean?
Ant Man. What
Oh,
was it?
gotcha, gotcha.
What was his name? I think it was Atlas, wasn't it? Originally in Thunderbolts, the giant guy.
Yes, yes, but I think maybe it's Lawrence Fishburne as Goliath.
Could be, could be. Uh,
I think we're gonna get some more Florence Pugh as Yelena.
yeah, we could see Ghost again.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, like you bring in Lawrence Fishburne, we get Ghost too.
yeah,
Um,
I would like to see some new characters, but I do think they're going to be pulling a lot from the other movies characters we've already seen.
yes, yes, absolutely. I'm trying to think of like who your Iron Man equivalent would be.
Well, you've got Ironheart on the good guys team, so would War Machine get lured to that side? Like
No, I don't think so. Um, I don't know.
unless they brought back Ironmonger or the guy you like, Sam Rockwell or Rockwell,
Oh, Justin Hammer, yeah.
Justin Hammer could pop up.
I could see that. Although, you know what? They are saying that I remember hearing some rumors that the bad guy of Ironheart is Ezekiel Stain.
Okay,
So I could see him being like the new Ironmonger.
that is true. They could set that up in Ironheart.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think a lot of like members of the Thunderbolts maybe we haven't met yet. Not a lot of them, but some of them. Uh, but yeah.
so it
Uh,
seems like you are more excited for Phase 5 than I am.
yes.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm probably about 60% excited.
Well. So
I've been
for
kind of keeping track over here.
yeah, for me, I mean, like Phase 4 announcements was just such a drab. Like this is a step up for me.
Yeah, and we're
Um,
getting the fact that we're getting all this like within a year, I think it is, or a year and a
yeah.
half or something.
Now that's the one thing I'm not a fan of is the fact that we're getting Phase 4, 5, and 6 within the span of like a phase and a half of the Infinity Saga.
Well, I think there's two reasons that's happening. Number one was COVID happened and everything got jammed up. So now all the stuff that's been in development's all coming out. That's number one. Number two, I think they're trying to wrap all this up because phase 7 will be the mutant phase.
I could see that.
So they're wanting to end all of this. And well, let's go ahead and talk about phase 6 since I'm already
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So for
um,
me, Phase 5, I'm with it. I'm down.
yeah, so we have a lot of question marks about phase 6, and we'll try to kind of fill them in. Um, let's see, phase 6. So Fantastic Four, I think they said starts phase 6, or no, or it ends phase 5.
No,
I think it starts
Fantastic.
phase 6.
I'm pretty sure they said it starts Phase 6, but there looks like there's something before that.
Yeah. Um, and then I think that says November. I can't read it. Yeah, it's a November date, 2024.
Yeah, let's see.
Um,
I've got the wiki up for Phase 5, so I'll move on to Phase November 8th.
yeah. So Fantastic Four, we don't know who the cast is or anything, but obviously they're going to play a really huge role in Phase 6, especially if Secret Wars is about Doctor Doom.
Yes,
Definitely.
and
And
we'll get to that.
yeah,
Now here's my thing. Uh, oh, you know what? Doom could be the equivalent to Iron Man in Thunderbolts if they make if they come out with more
I
part of it.
don't see him being that public yet. I
Okay.
think he's still gonna be in the shadows, but we'll see. And I'm
Um,
trying not to give away some of the spoilers. I know. So,
well, I mean, like we can't talk about Fantastic Four without talking about Doctor Doom.
well, no. I mean, there are no real spoilers yet for Fantastic Four. So yeah, Doom. If he's not the main villain, he's definitely
Yeah,
involved in the movie. Like they could do
yeah.
like Mole Man or somebody's a villain. Who knows?
So
Um,
I'm gonna go ahead and just say what I'm thinking. I am now on the camp where I don't think John Krasinski is gonna be Reed Richards.
I don't either. Um,
I think they did that in Doctor Strange as kind of like a nod, but it's not actually going to be him.
I think I look at the scene with the Illuminati more as, hey, here's hints of what's coming, but not necessarily. Like you had Xavier, like, yeah, mutants are coming, and Fantastic Four is coming, and you're gonna get this is gonna be your
Spectrum's
new Captain
coming.
Marvel.
Yep.
It's gonna be Spectrum or whatever. Um, like it was just like hints of where we're going. Um, all right, so we have the Kang Dynasty, which is obviously gonna be about Kang. I can't see them forming the Avengers at the beginning of this film. That's why I think they're going to get formed like around Captain America. So we just dive right into this, and I feel like the movie is going to end with Kang like being all powerful, and then Doctor Doom sweeping in and stealing whatever.
Yeah, just stealing his powers.
Yeah,
Um, now, I think it'll have something to do with Shang Chi. I think if there's going to be any sort of like MacGuffin or something, then it's going to be having to do with whatever Shang Chi was talking about with the Ten Rings at the end. Um, and I also think that like Kang is probably going to be one of Shang Chi's movies because the rumor is the director of Kang Dynasty is going to be the director of Shang Chi. Or
I don't think that's a rumor. I think it's confirmed.
is that confirmed?
Yeah, so I can't see him doing Shang Chi and this in 1 year, but so my guesses for the three movies are Shang-Chi 2,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 3, since it has to do with the incursions, and something cosmic. So either Nova or like Infinity Watch or Eternals 2 is going to be the other movie during this phase.
Yes. So I have five movies it could be, and I have five shows it could be.
Okay. So
Um,
what are your movies?
I def my movies are Doctor Strange 3, Nova, Shang Chi. We may have some Spider Man presence.
Yeah.
Uh, so that is a possibility. And then I think we may get a sort of Bucky solo movie because I would love that.
The only other one that I think is a maybe is Deadpool 3 because it could be multiverse shenanigans with Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I'm a maybe on. The only one I feel confident with is Doctor Strange 3. I think that one is probably your movie either right before Kang Dynasty or right after. But that's the only one I feel pretty strong about. TV shows, my guesses were. I think I lost Caleb. He left, and he's back. Are you back?
Yeah, I have no idea what happened.
You just vanished. So for the TV shows, my guesses are
If Feige, we're doing we're spoiling Phase 6. They're coming after
they
you.
are they are after us. I
Yeah.
think Armor Wars is a lock for this phase.
Okay.
I think we'll get some type of Black Knight TV series.
Okay.
Children's Crusade, I think, is going to happen during this phase to finish the Scarlet Witch story and introduce the Young Avengers.
Okay.
Um, I gotta be careful not to jump into trademark things, but I think the Marvel Truth story about the original Captain America. I think we'll get a miniseries about that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Are you
Uh,
talking about with like Isaiah Bradley?
yes, I know they did some of that in Falcon
Yeah,
and the Winter Soldier, but I think we will get the full story here.
I would love that. I know I love Falcon Winter Soldier more than most people, and I love Isaiah Bradley in that, which would be cool because like we it could be kind of like a like it could be a an Eli Bradley origin story as well.
Yeah, especially if we're
Uh,
getting Children's Crusade of Young Avengers, I think we're going to get that.
yeah.
My wild guess, my final wild guess is Runaways will be relaunched sometime during this point.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. So for me, whenever it comes to shows, all of my guesses are actually ones that haven't been announced yet. So I don't have Armor Wars in here.
Okay.
I'm still up in the air about Armor. Like if the fact that he has to say no, it's still coming out, that makes me think it's not coming out. So I definitely do think there's going to be a Scarlet Witch series, probably having to do with the kid, just to cap that off. Young
Yeah.
Avengers show, yes, absolutely. I think we might be getting a Ghost Rider show. Um,
Yeah, I think some type of Midnight Suns thing is coming. I don't know if it's phase 6. It may be after that, but that is definitely something in development.
so that's actually my guess. My guess is the shows are actually setting up other teams because you've got Echo, you've got Werewolf by Night, Moon Knight, Daredevil. You've got all this stuff happening with like your really gritty level, and so I think if they cap it off with Ghost Rider, I think we could get a Midnight Suns crossover with all of them. And then just because it's just another gut feeling. I think World War Hulk is happening at some point.
I heard chatter about World War Hulk a couple years ago, and then it went away. And Hulk is one of those touchy situations due to the rights issues with Universal.
I wonder what is the because is it Universal or is it Paramount?
It's Universal. If they release a movie that has Hulk in the title, they have to share profits with Universal
Movie.
movie. From what I
Okay.
understand, I haven't seen the actual contract, but that's my understanding.
So I'm thinking World War Hulk being a show.
Could be.
Um, Now, of course, I don't think it'd be like I don't know how you would do that at all, but there's just a gut feeling.
Okay.
Uh,
So
so so for me, like in my phase six guessing, I would be most excited for Nova. Um, in fact, I think at this point we can pretty much just bank on the most pure, the most perfect, handsome human being on the planet, Ryan Gosling being Richard Rider. Um, that is absolutely what I wanted. Ryan Gosling as Richard
was
Rider.
was he the one the other day that said he wanted to be Ghost Rider?
Yes,
Okay,
but I think that's them throwing us off the fact that he's already talked about Nova.
could be.
Um,
Um,
and then out of all the shows, I'm just Scarlet Witch is like my favorite in the MCU, so I'm just ready for more Scarlet Witch.
I think we're going, like I said, I think we're going to get Children's Crusade, and that'll be like Young Avengers slash Children's Crusade to end that story and
Do
launch
you
them.
Yeah, do you think that we'll get Children's Crusade and Young Avengers, or do you think that Children's Crusade will be like their sort of Young Avengers
I
story
think it's the
for
same.
now?
Yeah, I think it's the
Okay.
same thing for right now.
Okay.
Um, my other thought, and Children's Crusade involved Doctor Doom, if you recall.
Right, yeah.
So I definitely feel like that's coming. Um,
And then as far as Secret Wars,
well, let me
on
rewind for 1 second before we get to Secret Wars.
oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
I think the most important movie not listed here is Doctor Strange 3,
Yes,
because I think that one's going to be like your equivalent to like Captain America Civil War. I think that movie is going to be the Fox universe versus the MCU, because that's
that'd be
going to be
pretty.
the incursion, is those two universes slamming together.
That'd be pretty sick.
And so I think they're going to have this big fight. That's why I think it's probably after Kang Dynasty. And I think at the end, everything's going to be like, getting destroyed. And that's when Doctor Doom's going to rebuild the world as Secret Wars, as Battle World at the end of that.
Yeah, I in terms of like characters coming back, I think at some point Ralph Boner is coming back, and I hate saying that, but I do
I
think at some
think,
point.
well, I think we're going to get a scene where it's Ralph Boner meeting the Quicksilver from the MCU or something.
Okay.
Um, have you read Hickman's Secret Wars?
No, I actually haven't.
So part of that story is to save the universe. Doctor Doom, spoilers, stole Molecule Man's powers. I think. I don't think Beyonder was involved, but he stole those powers, and him and Doctor Strange created this new world for everybody to survive. And so Doctor Strange is acting as like Doctor Doom's sheriff of this world. And spoilers, at some point, Doctor Strange betrays him and gets killed for it. And I think this will be the final Doctor Strange appearance, will be in Secret Wars.
Gotcha. So, and that would kind of reinforce my thinking, which is if Tony Stark was the main character of the Infinity Saga, Stephen Strange is the main character of the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah,
Um,
the main player, and also I'll say this: the ending. Again, I'm spoiling Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman.
we'll
This,
get to it at some point.
do you want me to go ahead and spoil it?
Yeah, go ahead.
The series kind of ends with Doom saying, "I admit it, Reed, you're better than me." And Reed takes on the powers of being God and rebuilds everything. So if you end this movie the same way, you could have him rebuild the MCU, and you can recast whoever you want at that point. You could have a new Captain
Yeah,
America, new Thor, new Iron Man, new everything if you want. And I think that when he rebuilds the world, that's when X-Men and everything launches out of that.
so essentially, what you're saying is there's no point in speculating post Secret Wars because anything could happen.
Other than saying the mutants are Phase 7, yeah, I don't. Well, I think portions of the MCU will stay, like the younger characters, Spider-Man. But
Hmm.
I think the Avengers story, for the most part, is going to end here at Secret Wars. But we'll
I
see.
mean, like, I mean, you've done Ultron, you've done Loki, you've done Kang, you've done Secret Wars, and you've done Infinity Gauntlet. Like, what other Avengers stories do you have?
I mean,
Um,
they have skipped a lot of stories, but I mean, this is your, and this is why I texted you the other day. I said I think Secret Wars is kind of like the perfect place if you want to find a place to stop reading Marvel comics. That ending of Secret Wars, where Reed becomes God and fixes Doctor Doom's face, and Doctor Doom admits you were better than me, is like the perfect ending.
yeah.
Um,
Um, so as far as Secret Wars for myself, um, I think we're gonna get the Rousseau brothers back. Because I know they said that they would only come back for Secret Wars, and I think Feige is going to take him up on that.
I disagree. If Feige is to be believed, which I don't know how much you can believe him, he said the Russo brothers are not directing Secret Wars. I think that's because the Russo brothers are directing X-Men in Phase 7.
Okay, okay, I can see that.
That's the other thing
Um,
they've said they are big fans of, is the X-Men.
you know what would be sick if they got John Favreau to direct Secret Wars.
I think he's too busy, but I agree.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely. I guess it depends on where he's at with Star Wars at this point.
yeah.
Um,
Well, didn't he say who? No, no, no. It was the other way. Kevin. There was rumors that Kevin Feige was doing a Star Wars movie at some
yeah,
point.
yeah, like he's going to be executive producing a Star Wars
Yeah.
movie or something.
Who knows? But Star Wars
Yeah,
is so up there. That's a whole nother topic. Um. All right. So, anything else you want to add to this? Because we've gone super long.
yeah, yeah. No, no, not much. I am extremely excited for the MCU for the first time since um
Well, this is better than Phase Four. I definitely
yeah,
say that.
yeah. Well, I'm excited for the MCU for the first time since Spider-Man Homecoming.
The three things that I am excited about most of all: Fantastic Four, Guardians 3, and Daredevil. I really want to see where
Yes.
those go. And then Secret Wars, of course, is a big deal, but we gotta see like how they set it up. What exactly it is, because Secret Wars give me a couple of different things.
Oh, like I'm fairly certain it's gonna be Hickman's because if it's shooters, then like there's no story at all.
Other than them fighting over the powers of a god, I strongly feel like it's Hickman. Like I'm 90% sure because of the Doctor Strange movie mentioning the incursions, and that's all Hickman stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Um, but yeah, I'm super down for the MCU for the first time since the middle of Phase 3. So, uh,
all right. So let's talk about what I really want to talk about. He made me do it for this week. He made me do it. It's where we take turns making each other read, watch, play a video game,
yeah.
whatever. And during the summer, we are doing movies that are not quite well received. Um, so I made Caleb watch Cool as Ice, and it was the Rift Tracks version. For those who don't know, Cool as Ice is a movie starring Vanilla Ice. And go ahead, Caleb, tell us about Cool as Ice.
All right. So here's the thing. Um, I oh. I think now it's my internet that's having issues. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Um, here's the thing about Cool as Ice. I got the name wrong.
What?
So when I was looking it up on Tubi, I couldn't find it.
Okay. So did you find it? Uh-oh, I think we may have lost Caleb for a second. Caleb, I can't hear you if you are talking. Um, oh wait, now there's another Caleb. Are you
I
back?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, there is something up. I've been having this issue with work as well. So anyway, yeah, I couldn't find it. So
Well, you could always ask me. I could tell you.
no, no, yeah. But I was convinced that this movie was called Cold as Ice.
Oh
Uh,
no.
and so I'm like, you know what? For the show, I gotta find a way to watch this. And so I found a way to watch it, and it wasn't the Rift Tracks version.
Oh no.
So I watched this
Oh
movie.
no, Caleb, no.
Now I did go back and I watched like a YouTube compilation, like the 20-minute preview or whatever that they have, just
Yeah.
to experience it. But no, I watched this movie like as a movie,
Oh no.
and honestly, it's quite an experience.
It is experience.
I now as soon as he shows up, like he's dressed up like a JoJo's character. Like he's dressed up like a Jotaro Kujo. It's I don't know what that hat is and like what the shape is. And I also don't know if he's the good guy or not.
So
um,
basically, real quick, the plot: Vanilla Ice and his crew show up in a small town. One of their bikes break down. They're getting it fixed. In the meantime, he meets this girl that he falls in love with, but he takes her notebook and she doesn't like him. And it turns out that her dad,
The Black Book.
yeah, her dad was a former, I think, police officer, and they thought he stole some money, but really he hadn't. So they're in witness protection. The family doesn't know this. Well, because of her appearing on TV, they have found this family the bad guys have, and now they end up kidnapping the youngest son, and Vanilla Ice has to save the day. Basically.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but the thing is I'm still not rooting for him in the movie, um, because he just kind of shows up and is like, yeah, you're high. Why, what does he say? Drop the zero, get with the hero.
Yeah, drop the zero, get with the hero.
And then I did see the riff tracks one that's like, drop the zero, I'm gonna get a euro. Like,
He keeps going, yep, yep.
oh my god, and I'm just so confused because like, so there are these things called vanity pieces, right?
Yes.
And I really thought I was going into this and I was going to see. So Machine Gun Kelly recently came out with a movie called Good Morning.
Okay.
That was sort of a vanity piece. And so I thought I was kind of getting that. Now, Good Morning is not a good movie either. But like, it seems that like at least everyone was having a good time making it. Even like the background characters and like the side characters, they look confused and they're like uncomfortable with the way he's walking and acting. And
So a vanity project, just for those who don't know, is usually something that someone has funded themselves. They're usually the writer, director, and star of it. They're like, and it's like a passion project for them. That's not what this is.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
but
like
I thought that's what I was getting into, but like not even close.
no, and I've on How Did This Get Made? They did an interview with Vanilla Ice about the movie, and he was like, "Look, I was 17. They threw a bunch of money my way and said, hey, you want this movie?' I was like, sure.' He's like, I didn't know what I was doing." you know. And I will say this about Vanilla Ice: I actually like the guy quite a bit. He had a very rough couple years dealing with anger and stuff, and just out of control. And he's really turned his life around, like modern day Vanilla Ice.
Sure,
And he
sure.
gets that, oh yeah, that was ridiculous what I was doing back then and stuff. But before he would like go into a rage if you told him that was ridiculous and stuff. But I think like the Insane Clown Posse really turned him around and stuff, and which is a weird thing to say. But that being said, I like it when people turn their lives around. I really do.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so
Shout outs to Robert Downey Jr.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, so uh, definitely check out the riff track for this. It is so funny. I can't believe you watched it without the riff track.
I know. It
Um,
I'll be sure to ask you how to find it easier next time.
well, if you just type
Uh,
in riff tracks, it'll come up. That
I
would be the
didn't
better way.
I didn't think about because like because I was like, it's Mystery Science Theater, right? But no, is it what? So I couldn't remember.
Oh,
No,
Caleb, Caleb.
I know. Plus,
Um,
I think there may have been like a part of me that thought it'd be funnier if I didn't watch the Rift Tracks version.
but you missed all the jokes about him dancing and them saying it was the electric Daffy
Yeah.
Duck and all that. It's so funny.
There's also the music video at the very beginning. That was very weird.
Yes.
Um,
What's weird is when they introduce the family, it turns into like this weird fast forwarded montage. You're just like, what is happening?
yeah,
There's
yeah,
a lot of
it's
moments in this movie where you're like, what is happening? And like they mentioned the riff track several times. The guy who was doing the cinematography went on to do like Schindler's List and stuff.
that's amazing. I mean,
So
like, I mean, everyone's got to start somewhere, I guess. Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm looking this guy up. Okay, so he did like Lincoln and Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List, West Side Story. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Like, oh man. Oh, and Cool as Ice wasn't even his first. He did like 5 movies before that, so it wasn't like his first thing either.
well, everybody has to make a paycheck. You gotta pay a mortgage. You can't get work elsewhere. It's like, okay, I'll do Cool as Ice.
He did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
Yeah.
Bridge of Spies. Oh man, he works with Spielberg a lot.
Yeah. So this is not, which when you watch it, you're just like, the cinematography is so weird. It's like, are you sure this is the same guy? And I guess they were trying to make it hip and cool and like a music video, but it is,
Yo.
and the sets are weird, like the old couple's weird house.
And and I mean, like I said, he's dressed like a JoJo's character the whole way.
Yeah.
Um, and he talks weird. He
And the whole
definitely,
town is reacting to him like, what the heck are you doing here?
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they filmed this in like in an unknowing town, and
Yeah.
like all those reactions. That's just real, and they're like, who, what, huh? Like this is like one of those guerrilla style movies, like that one Disney World horror movie, the
Yeah.
Escape from Tomorrow, except like, hey, we're gonna make something that's like a combination of Boys in the Hood and Cars.
It's it is so bizarre. The whole movie, the one of the bad guys is really weird. He's like zany. it's
Yeah,
just it's just bizarre. Um
and now there, I'm just reading this right here. The role of Kathy was offered to Gwyneth Paltrow. Her father, Bruce Paltrow, forbade her from accepting it because he thought it would hurt her career. Now, is that not a dad move or what? Like, dad knows best.
so what's funny is Sean Astin, who was in Lord of the Rings and Goonies and all that, he has a younger brother, and their family is famous actors, John Astin, Patty Duke, and all that. John Astin from the Addams Family, and so I can't think of Sean Astin's brother's name, but someone came up to him and said, "Hey, you want to do a movie?" And he said, "Sure." And he signed the contract. He was like, 12 or 13 or whatever, and he had signed on to the Garbage Pail Kids movie. And his dad was like, "You should have not signed that contract, but you signed a contract. You're making this movie." And made him do it.
Let's see. Mackenzie Aston.
Yes, that's him.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was so jealous of his brother being in Goonies and stuff. He's like, "Oh, I want to be in a movie." So he signed on to the Garbage Pail Kids.
Not a whole lot after that either. Yeah, you know what? No, he's been on Scandal a couple times. Okay, he just looks like a bit actor at this point. Man, what a career.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
I love people who would star in these bad movies and stuff, because a lot of times you don't know what kind of movie it's going to be when you're signing up for it. you know,
well,
you hope it's going to be good.
you got to think about, like, they heard about like a Vanilla Ice movie. They probably thought they were getting into like a Boys in the Hood style movie.
Or Will Smith is popular. Maybe this is going to be something huge. And this is what you
And
get.
and look at Will Smith now. He made a YouTuber apology video.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. All right, but if anybody's watching, Cool as Ice riff track version is hilarious. Do not watch it without the riff track.
And for those of you who need a reminder, it's called Cool as Ice. It is not called Cold as Ice.
Caleb, there's this thing called IMDb and Wikipedia where you can look up what movies has Vanilla Ice been in and find the title.
You know, I didn't want to look up his filmography because I didn't want to know what else he was in.
Well, I think there's probably two movies. This and Ninja Turtles
You know,
2, The
I'm
Secret Moves.
yes, he was. And you know what? That one scene was better than this whole movie.
Oh, definitely. You
Uh,
know, I had an opportunity to see him and the Ninja Turtles in concert a couple months ago, and I did not go. And I regret it. I really wish I'd
really?
went.
I
Yeah,
mean, like,
it was at some little Comic Con here in Texas, and it said Vanilla Ice and Ninja Turtles on stage, and I was like, oh, I'm so tempted to go.
I am honestly surprised you didn't go. Like, I feel like that's.
Yeah, I should have went. It would have been an experience that I'd tell my grandkids about. Like,
I mean, like for me, like I didn't see because people were surprised that I didn't go see Return of the Jedi in concert when it was here, but
mhm.
that's because Machine Gun Kelly was the same night. For you, like what was in the way of you seeing Vanilla Ice?
uh, we were dealing with like Jackson's graduation and stuff at that time. I was very busy with that, so it's kind of like,
Gotcha,
yeah. So,
gotcha.
so anyhow, that was cool as ice. Caleb, do you have a movie for me or?
So I asked you about this earlier, so I and now you're I guess your answer kind of confused me, so I'll go ahead and just say it, and if you're for sure you've seen it, then I can think of something else.
I
Um,
have seen it. Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I have seen it. I don't remember it, but I have definitely seen it.
okay, okay,
And I'm
because
not a Final Fantasy guy anyway, so it's kind of like,
well, and that's the thing. Because for me, I think we're taking these assignments two different ways. You're coming up with the most outlandish bad movies to make me watch, and like it's funny. I'm using this as kind of like an experiment.
okay,
Um, so like, I make you watch Eternals, um, because I have to see what you think of what I think is the worst movie in the MCU. I make you watch Batman and Harley Quinn. Whoa,
sorry, my phone went crazy.
was that Vanilla Ice?
No, there's these fake Mentos commercials. My brother keeps sending to me. Like, they'll take like the scene of RoboCop of him getting shot, and they're like, do 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 do.
Okay, so so then let me ask you this: do you have Netflix or
Yes.
you do? Okay, then I think we do something a little timely. I not the whole thing, but let's just do the pilot. The first episode of the Resident Evil show.
Oh no.
Yeah. Welcome to New Raccoon City.
Oh, because you know what's going to happen is I'm going to watch this, and my wife is going to watch this, and she's going to want to watch the whole show.
So yeah, we're gonna go with that then.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Um, so we lost a week last week. So next week we'll be doing the Marvel essential characters list that we wanted to
Yeah.
do. So because we lost a week, I'm going to lose one of my he made me do it picks. So I'm gonna skip the Charge Band Kin stuff that I was gonna have you watch. We'll save that for another time. Charge Band Kin's this weird anime that is kind of has a cult following, but a lot of people don't know about it. But I do have some. There's payback coming for you making me watch a Resident Evil. I'll just say that. So
So here's the thing. I've only seen that first episode. So if Andrea makes you watch the whole series, let me know and I will watch the whole series.
okay. All right. Well, that's our show for the night. Next week we have what I think is going to be a big show. A show I've been planning for since before we started the podcast. This was like one of my first ideas for the show. Talk about the essential characters of the Marvel Universe. That sounds boring. It will not be boring. It'll be an interesting debate next week. But until then, I've been Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
See ya.